Right, welcome back, episode 10 of Your Relationship Sucks! Exclamation point, probably, I don't know. The first, I think this might be the first Saturday morning edition of this that
It
we've done.
is, I believe.
And so that's exciting, I guess, for somebody probably. Not me, but it's fine. So,
So you want
so
people to like buy into it, but you're not excited about this. You're not excited about an actual job.
yeah, that's
What
correct.
are you excited about?
Nothing, nothing at all. Literally nothing.
Definitely someone to take relationship advice from, is all
Yeah,
I'm saying.
yeah, 100%. I mean, that means I'm objective. I don't get too excited. I don't, I don't fall for the traps. I just get down to brass tacks and tell you how it is. That's what I'm known for. That's what I'm good at.
That's what you're known
So
for. In
yeah.
many circles, I'm sure.
Yeah, worldwide. Be worldwide.
Worldwide,
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct.
which is
Worldwide.
what gives you the authority to be giving relationship advice.
That's accurate. Yeah, there's world
It makes
renowned
sense. It
expert. Yeah,
world
that's right.
renowned expert in minimal uh, emotional reactions to things.
Yeah, objective reactions to things. That's correct.
Okay,
That's
I
correct.
mean, tomato,
All right,
tomato.
all right. So I haven't heard any of these questions. I don't know what's coming. I don't have any
Nope.
ideas. So what do we have? What's today? What's on? What's the topic of the day?
Today is should I go on a trip with a long distance guy I'm into?
Mm,
While traveling to
mm.
Chicago back in June, I connected with Z on Bumble. We decided to meet at his place, kissed in the first hour, and I slept over. It all seemed casual and fine. I visited again in July, and the two of us had the most amazing intimate weekend together. Now we talk on the phone all the time. One day, I sent Z a picture of my parents traveling to Iceland.
What's
His
the name?
response was
His
that
name is D.
Z, it's just like a
Z like zebra.
Z. Z as in zebra,
Okay, got it.
not
Okay.
like the full name. Like we can
Yep.
call him Zach
Yep.
if you want.
No, I'm with you.
Z. Okay. His response was that he and I should go there ourselves. On a bit of a whim, we've now booked flights and are planning this trip together. The only problem is that now all I can think about is that I shouldn't be seeing him again because he's in Chicago and I'm in California. I did fall for him. I don't know what to do. Please help.
What? I don't even understand the question. She likes the guy. Go on the trip with them. I don't understand. Where are they
So
going? Where do they want to go? Where
I think
does
they're going to Iceland or like somewhere like it's a long distance trip. She said her parents went to Iceland and then he wanted to go with her.
Oh, got it. Okay, okay. So they're gonna go on a trip to Iceland, which is incredibly expensive, by the way. Like not I mean, I don't know what the flights are, but like I just know that like Iceland is it's like $74 for a plate of breakfast. So good luck with that.
Yeah, and it sounds like they've already booked the tickets.
Yeah, so I guess I don't really understand the question. So she's gonna back out, I guess. Like that's kind of a dick move. Like I don't do that, or send somebody else with your ticket. I don't know if you can do that, but like I mean, the guy's excited to go to Iceland now.
Yeah.
Um, what? So why is she? I don't understand why she doesn't. I mean, they're already doing the long distance thing, right? Like she. I mean, first of all, she already went over. Well, so did he move away from her? Like, were they closer when they met, or what was the deal? I don't understand. How did that work? Because she
No, she
already.
was going to Chicago and she was using Bumble for Chicago before she got there. And then
Oh,
they
all right, all right, all
connected,
right.
and when she got to
Okay.
Chicago, they like met up, and now she's been there more than once.
Oh, okay. So they're literally doing the long distance thing, but then she said like she shouldn't see him after. But there's no red flags, right? It's just the distance. It's only the
Yeah,
distance.
it seems like the issue is the distance, but it also doesn't. I'm not. This isn't added, but there's no. Oh, I talked to him. He's not interested in relocating. I'm not interested in relocating. I mean, it sounds like he's making an effort to create interesting things, like going to Iceland or, make
No,
this work?
it sounds like he wants to go to Iceland and he wants her to come to him so that she'll sleep with him. That's what it sounds
Yeah,
like.
I
I mean,
guess that he hasn't gone to California yet, so.
yeah, I mean, this is just fundamentally something that he's getting from her, which is, yeah, you know what? I mean, good for him. Like, if you can trick somebody into doing that, and more power to you. I don't. That seems stupid for her to do, but whatever, it's fine. My my concern is, well, she didn't say how long the trip was, right? Like how long they were going to go. They're going to go over to Iceland.
No, it's just more now that she's booked this trip and it seems like things are getting a little more serious. That's now where she's having remorse about it being long distance.
All right. Well, first thing I would say is you should probably have a conversation about whether or not, like, just like you said, right, like the relocation. We should probably be having that conversation at some point to know whether or not you should feel that way about this relationship, right? Like, if you guys start talking now, we can relocate or whatever, whatever the case may be, that's fine. But I think you want to have that conversation so that you can adjust your expectations, right? Because otherwise you're just sitting there and like you're building something up in your head, and this other guy's like, honestly, I just wanted to go to the hot springs in Iceland. Like that was it, right? Like I just want to go see the Blue Lagoon or whatever the hell that thing's called over there. That's the if that's what he's all about, right? Then maybe that's fine as long as her expectations are adjusted. But if she's thinking like, well, let's get serious, or whatever, whatever the case may be, and she's not adjusting her expectations for this trip, then she's she's just setting herself up to, well, she's already setting herself up. She's flying over to Chicago just to be with this dude, and then she's going to Iceland because he wants to go to Iceland. It doesn't sound like a great deal for her, right? Like, I mean, it sounds like he's got it worked out. She doesn't, right? I think it's a real risk to go on a trip with somebody that you don't know. Right. I mean, obviously that's like a big step in a relationship and like, can you last or whatever. But like, if we're talking, think about this, like you go into a foreign country for, I don't know, like a week, maybe something like that.
If you're going to Iceland, it's at least like 5 or, a minimum of 5 days would be a short trip.
I mean, that's a long time to be with somebody that you don't necessarily know that well. Right. So I would say before, if you're already thinking about skipping out on this trip, I would say have that conversation before and understand if he's sort of feeling the same way, like, hey, we can use this as to see, like, is this something we could do in the future, and we want to move in together, or whatever, we want to move closer to each other or whatever. I would say have that conversation first, because otherwise you're setting yourself up for failure, because you're going to be there day 2 and you're going to like throw out the idea and he's going to be like, honestly, I'm good. And you're going to hate yourself for the next, 5, 6, 7 days. And then you're stuck, right? You're stuck. And I don't think there's a lot to do in Iceland, would be my guess, right? Not a lot of, I'm not even sure there's 7 days worth of stuff to do. I have no idea, but
I think that I've heard it's a really good trip, but.
Well, no, but like 7 days of things to do with, if you go to New York City or something like that, you're there for 7 days with somebody you hate, like you just go do things in New York City. There's like a billion things to do. Right?
Yeah, I feel like even the things you do in Iceland, it's like hiking and other things that are, if you do them and you're busy, you're still connecting with the person.
Yeah, you're stuck.
On a more intimate level. You're not like constantly in museums or doing things in New York City where you can literally not talk to someone all day and be busy, as you mentioned.
Right. So I think you're gonna go ice hiking with this dude, and like he's gonna be like, yeah, I'm just gonna leave her here. That's a terrible idea. Don't do that. Just don't.
The other thing too is if she doesn't bring it up on the trip, she's just going to have raging anxiety about the whole relationship the entire time she's in Iceland anyway. And then that's just going to cause tension, and that's not going to be like she's spending a ton of money for like her ticket and stuff. Why, like that doesn't even sound like a good way to spend your money. And if you have this conversation beforehand, as you mentioned, you can still like cancel most of it and at least like use the ticket for something else.
Yeah, definitely don't have this conversation on the trip. Just don't do that. That's a disaster waiting to happen, right? So have it before, or go on the trip, I don't know, take a bunch of depressants and like just convince yourself that you're not running into a problem, and then have it after. But do not have this conversation on a trip while you're stuck in another. That's literally like the plot of a bad rom-com, right? Like, just don't do that. That's a terrible idea. so definitely have this conversation before, just so that you understand what your expectations are. Because hey, you know what, you might be okay with like, hey, I'm gonna spend my money to go fly and sleep with this dude, and then he doesn't really have to do much. Whatever, maybe you're cool with that. I mean, it's fine. Like, do whatever you want to do, but you can adjust your
Yeah.
expectations, right? If you're like, hey, you know what, I can go, we can kind of do a friends with benefits type situation over in Iceland. We can hang out. We like to do whatever together. Maybe we can meet some other people while we're over there, like that sort of thing. No problem. Like, go ahead, go nuts. But you need to adjust your expectations before. But she's already thinking like, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't see him anymore. I don't know. It sounds like she didn't really want to do it. I wouldn't, like, if you don't see a long-term thing with this, unless you adjust your expectations, I absolutely would not go on a trip with somebody to a foreign country. I wouldn't go on a trip domestically with somebody who I wasn't in with that, but definitely don't go to a foreign country where you're basically stuck for a substantial amount of time.
I was reading the question, not necessarily that she doesn't want a long-term relationship, but she's fearful only because of the distance. But it doesn't sound like they've had a conversation. He could be 100% willing to relocate, and that's like in his mental part of like maintaining this relationship is that he's open to it, but she's not had that conversation. So she's realizing that this is something more serious, because it started out with like she wanted it to be casual.
Yeah.
That's what she thought it was going to be. So now, like,
she screwed
what's
that up,
coming at her isn't, as many do. What's coming at her isn't what she was expecting. The other alternative that I see is, like you said, accepting that, this is maybe going to be something casual, being okay with that, going on the trip, but also seeing how the dynamic works on the trip before having the conversation. As you mentioned, you can especially someone you haven't spent a lot of time with, you can like them and have that conversation like, oh, this is where we're planning on going. And then you go on the trip and you're like, I actually hate you. And now you've had a conversation that's essentially suggesting you would like to relocate or have like a more serious relationship within, X amount of time with someone you just recently found out that you hate spending, 7 consecutive days with. Like 3 is good. There's doses of people that are fine. And some people are short doses and they're great. And everyone has friends like this. This and a bunch of rom-coms, like you'll have a friend that comes in for the weekend. They're great. They have the best weekend, and like they love and dread that weekend that they hang out with that person every year. Some people are just like that for you. So I guess like the trip is a really good indicator if you can't spend a lot of time with someone of what someone is really like. I guess it accelerates that without having to move to understand that. So in a way, I feel like it's an expensive way to figure it out, but probably less expensive than relocating.
Yeah, definitely. Stop spending your money to go see this dude. Get him to come see you. Get him to move to LA. Or don't go on the trip. I don't know what to tell you. That sounds like way better.
And for all we know, she's going there on business, so it's being paid for. But that doesn't matter. He should still be coming to see her. That's what needs to happen. If that's not happening, then this, like you said, this dude has got a good situation. He probably has like something else going on, even though he likes you. He's reached the wall of what he's willing to do.
Yeah. So, tell him to get a better job that lets him pays for his travel to LA. I don't know, whatever. Tell him to figure it out. Like, stop putting yourself out there like this, for that, or just understand that it's not, this is the end all be all for you. Again, kudos to this guy for just getting just an unbelievable setup for himself. Good work, buddy. So, all right, I think we did it. I think we answered this lady's question. I think we helped her dodge a bullet. Hopefully she has this conversation and she understands the real risks that she's running by doing this. Also, don't buy tickets before you're sure you want to go on the trip. It seems pretty basic, right? Like, don't spend thousands of dollars.
Got like buyer's remorse. She bought the house and then she was like, "Oh shit, I don't really want to live in this neighborhood."
Yeah, I don't know. Sleep on it. Whatever. Like, it's fine. Book it tomorrow. It seems pretty simple, right? But all right. So I think we helped her. Hopefully she sees this before she goes off and gets killed in the wilderness by this guy. But otherwise, we will see this 10 episodes in the books. We will see people next time.
Yes.
They can email us if they have questions. They can. I understand
Yeah.
they can email us at some email address.
Yeah, I don't know. I can say it every time, and it doesn't seem like you remember.
Not particularly
Info
interested.
your relationship sucks at gmail.com. Today was good. I think not only do we answer her questions, you touched on some good, solid long distance relationship advice,
Yep.
not shooting it down. If someone's been in a long distance relationship and can let us know, I don't think I've ever maintained a long distance relationship with someone I don't think I've ever maintained a long distance relationship, but especially not with someone I didn't meet, and then
Yep.
move away or something. There was no time. So that's an interesting thing. I know that works. People meet on the internet all the time and then they get married and they have good relationships. So I'd love to hear from other people who've experienced that.
Yeah. Any of you psychopaths who have been able to do
Mm-hmm.
that would definitely be interested to know. Yeah, to know how you do it, so that I can tell you that you're probably an idiot, whatever. But yeah, let us know. Email us if you have questions. Somebody will probably read it. I don't know. It won't be me, but whatever. It'll be interesting. Otherwise, we will see everybody next time.
We will.